Heck yeah, dude. Just stopped raining. Nice summer day out. Sun's going. I'm in the mood for thrifting and wood grain sunglasses. Yeah, let's go thrifting. Alright, well, straight away, this Goodwill seems to have quite the pile of donations stacking up there, ready to go in pretty soon, but moving right along to the Lucky Rock out front of here, and well, somebody has left an offering, or just maybe the Rock is about to charge up his phone. He has a random USB-C cable on the Rock. I don't know what that was about, or what this was about. First thing I notice inside, it's kind of hard not to notice, just this big old church pew hanging out, ready for someone to buy, and it's only one of them. You gotta wonder how that happens. Like, did some place just not need one pew? Or just one too many? I don't know. And right around the corner from that was a table full of random goods, including these 2 boxes full of Star Trek Next Generation VHS tapes. I don't know if it was a complete collection, but a whole bunch of them here. $100 for the bundle. Lots of them still sealed. And right around from that, plenty more VHS tapes as usual for this location, but sometimes other stuff is tossed in there, like this right here. Holy cow! 250,000 graphics, 17 CDs packed with premium photos and clip art and buttons, and oh man, look at all of the 90s. Yeah, these packs are not an uncommon sight or anything. It's just the holy cow branding, or the title of it, is just rather amusing. This I also found amusing as well, due to the branding, and that is a Gateway DVD recorder, an AR-230 model, and yeah, Gateway, the company that was most known for doing computers, made a move into consumer electronics in the mid-2000s. I mean, they did like DVD things and plasma TVs, and they were all in kind of a champagne color scheme. It's just, I don't know, never seen one of these while thrifting, actually. And they had a number of LCD monitors and TVs from the time period as well, and the one that stood out immediately, for pretty obvious reasons I think, is this Dell rotating monitor, which is something I would have grabbed had it not also really just been a dock. I mean, this is a docking system kind of thing. Sure, you could plug in whatever you wanted to, I think, but the fact that it's mostly a dock, I passed on it. Still cool to see. I can't say I run across too many Jeff Gordon wheels while thrifting, but here's one of them, and I'm already tired of it. On the topic of automobilia, here is something that stood out. Look at this Volvo big old book thing. It's a Human Resources People Manual? Yeah, just a big 3-ring binder full of what appears to be human resources or company policies relating to, how this ended up here. Who knows? But it's something you don't see every day. And all kinds of policies. Look at all those policies. It's my policy to check out the electronics as soon as I can, though, and look at this thing. Just a beautiful Motorola 8-track player. Ah, man, it's even got the speakers. All the knobs are still there. The wood grain is in pretty decent shape. I don't know, some of the veneer's coming off, but a fantastic looking set. Only $55. Not something I need, so I didn't grab it, but I'm sure somebody did pretty soon after I left, because that just looks great. And just down from there was another fascinating little design that I was just immediately drawn to. Look at this little Juliet clock. It was missing one of the little plastic handles and, kind of coming apart, but I don't know, just looks cool. Look at that. Doesn't that look neat? Not a flip clock, but it does have the cool rotating numbers. I've always liked those, and AM/FM radio, it's just an appealing little device. Same with this. Straight up early 80s, Bearcat 160 is an automatic scanning radio. Yeah, it's a piece of equipment for listening in on police and EMS radio frequencies and just scanning through them. Kind of awesome. I haven't actually seen too many of these. Usually I find just regular old CB radios and whatnot, but this one being a scanner in particular, just that color scheme, oh yeah. And look at this lovely thing. I was shocked to see this Super VHS VCR in here. This is a JVC HRS 8000U, wonderful wood grain clad beast, and I've been looking for one of these for a long time, and I didn't get it because I had just gotten one a few months before recording this footage on eBay, and it was actually priced about the same as Goodwill had it, $115. Of course, I had to pay shipping on top of that, but this was in great shape. Still had the little plastic on the display and everything. Hope somebody picked this up that knew what it was, because these are cool. What in the world? So that's a clock with a bunch of equations. Here we go. This is pretty high up there in terms of geek. I mean, look, everything actually adds up to what the numbers would be on a clock. Yeah, and then that's fun. Is this handmade or did somebody actually buy it like this? I don't know, but it's awesome. Oh, hey, this is a little bit different in terms of Geo Safari things. This right here is a Geo Safari world. Yeah, I'm much more used to seeing the electronic game things. I enjoyed those as a kid, but the globe one, I have never actually messed around with this, so I don't know exactly how it works. But that's not a bad globe at all. Feels nice, looks cool. Neat little device. Exploratoy. Off in the random junk section now, and look at this, we got another big box PC software thing. This is a Photo Explosion Deluxe. At first I thought it was kind of similar to the clip art thing over there, just with more photos, but no, this is actually a little similar to all kinds of different photo applications I remember seeing back then, like Kai's Photo Soap, mixed with some other just random little editors and share photos on your mobile phone, handheld, and iPod. Aw man, burn CD slideshows you can put on your TV. The way that this is very specifically dated to the early 2000s is unusually appealing. There were so many of these back then. And as I continued perusing the junk, this stood out for obvious reasons. We got some Scotch magnetic tape, just a 7-inch reel, 1/4-inch recordable stuff I can use on my reel-to-reel machine, which is neat. Why not pick this up, right? And look, somebody filled in all the little bits of the letters there. But then I saw the text around back and I had to grab this. Taped October 31st, 1972, Orson Welles and War of the Worlds, and Witchcraft. Yeah, side 2, Witchcraft. Yeah, I mean, I've seen Evil Dead. I'm still gonna get this and listen to it. But not before we move on to another Goodwill and, I don't know, see what other kind of weirdness we run across in here. Like this table with a little table on top of it, a little tiny foosball table. I don't know why, but this is just funny to me. It just seems as if it'd be so small that it wouldn't be worth it. I don't know. I've never played tiny foosball, but I'm intrigued. Oh hey, we got some big box software over here in the puzzles and board games. Fisher-Price ABCs, featuring the Jungle Jukebox. Windows 95 and 3.1, not exactly the kind of thing I'm looking to buy right now, but hey, big box software, yay! Oh, now here we go, look at this. Got a Revell Thunder Squadron Snap-Tight Model A10 Warthog. I think I put this exact one together when I was about 10 years old. Yeah, it was something close to that. Pretty sure it was a Snap-Tight A10. I know I put together an A10 or two, but just brought back memories seeing this. I used to love going to model shops, man. I mean, I still do, but you know, especially in the 90s, just places that sold tons of kits, walls full of them. Ugh, I miss those days. On the topic of days gone by, it's no longer Christmas. Can you tell? I have never seen so many Christmas trees in one spot in a thrift store. Normally you get 5 or 6, you know, just piled up after Christmas. This was filmed in June. Check this out. Don't see this as often as I used to. A boxed collection of Roller Coaster Tycoon Deluxe, a 3-game set. Which is really not 3 games, it's just the first game with 2 expansions. At this point, I'm just amused seeing PC games in boxes at all while thrifting. Like this right here in the other puzzles and board games section, and let's ride Champions Collection. Hey, it's a Sam's Club game, or you know, one of their big boxes that they released in 2003, 4, that kind of thing, when most other places were already moving on to the smaller boxes. This is a bigger one, and it's got a few games in one. You know what? It's just because it's in a big box and it's a Sam's Club release, I am getting it. And of course, they got plenty of junk in the junk section, including some slightly not junk. This is some Radio Shack tapes, low noise, 30-minute tapes. Highly useful if you're, say, recording computer software for old microcomputers and such. I've got so many of these, I'm not gonna, I almost picked it up, but I didn't. Anyway, neat to see Radio Shack merch at all. Moving on to the electronics, and this stood out for its size, but also the fact that it kind of looked like an IBM Wheelwriter, but it obviously wasn't. This is a Xerox 6020 Memory Writer, a word processor of sorts with a fascinating keyboard. Yeah, it didn't feel half bad, honestly, and the centered legends on each of the keycaps was a choice. It's not my preferred, but it does stand out. Most have the letters in the top left. And I got another beigey boy. Over here, look at this. I got a Dell Quiet Key. Again, used to see these absolutely all of the time, but not so much anymore. $3.50. I have a lot of these because they're actually pretty decent PS2 keyboards for the type of rubber dome membrane-y kind of thing that they are. They're not bad. Down below there, we got some wood grain. Let's check this out. What is this? So on top of a VHS holder here, we have a Fisher audio component system. Very plastic, but still visually appealing at the same time. I just like piano key style buttons for the eject and all that. But yeah, just a receiver, radio, tape deck combination thing. Nothing I'm looking out for in particular. Unlike this. Oh, just hanging out here in this bin of crap. This is the Microsoft Wheel Mouse Optical. Still sealed, $3.50. Yes, please. This is one of my favorite mice from back in the day. Used a version of this, a Gateway branded one, a ton. And I've kind of missed it ever since, to be honest. It's just a nice mouse. It feels really good in the hands, has a certain amount of accuracy that I enjoy. And check this out. These are recent sold listings of the day I found this mouse, and they go for a fair amount more than $3.50. Suffice to say, I bought it. I'm excited to take it home and use again. But yeah, back to the store and look at this Sony clock. A little wood grain cube. Plastic, cheap, knob was coming off. You know, the clock face on the front is mostly what's awesome about it, in my opinion. But anyway, I moved on pretty quickly because I noticed this right beside it, another rotating monitor, but this one by ViewSonic, and it's not a docking station either. It's just a monitor. VP201B, 1600 by 1200, 4:3 aspect ratio. Yes. And then right beside that, look at this little gateway. It's nothing special, but it is a beige LCD monitor from the early 2000s. Assuming it works, this would be awesome to pair with a couple of systems that I have. Man, all of a sudden, my finds are piling up all at once here in the store. Here's something I haven't done in a long time. Grabbing a cart. This is ridiculous. This never happens. Okay, well, I seem to be on a pretty good streak here, finding some cool stuff, so let's move on to another store down in this area. On top of the glass case, we got a couple of gaming things. An Xbox 360. Disk drive does not always open. $45, no return. I can't imagine that's appealing to too many folks. Nor this. I mean, what is this? Just a PCB and a display for an oven? Can't say I've ever seen one of those being sold on its own before. But then right down beside that, now this is far more appealing, and I'm sure this went pretty quickly. You got a Super Nintendo, $25.50 with a couple of controllers. Even without any games or power supplies, $25 ain't bad these days. Alright, let's see what we got back here. What the heck is this thing? Also sold for parts, no returns. Oh man, they must be tired of returns lately. It's only $15 though. This is a Webcore stereo. Opening it up, and yeah. Look at this, it's one of those portable record player, speaker, amplifier combo setups. This kind of folds out and get your music going there. You know, open up the top part of the lid here, and there's a record player down there. I mean, you know, it's just one of those cool mid-century designs. I've run across a number of these while thrifting. It's nothing I'm interested in collecting, but they're just cool to see. Ah man, this potpourri pot. I swear like every other mom had one of these in the late 80s to the mid 90s. I can still smell that particular cinnamon pine berry mixture anyway. I had quite an ample selection of junk here too I had to look through. And what is this? Look at a little turtle guy with a hat. It's a salt and pepper holder. That's all it is. I just appreciated being in its presence. It's an oddly soothing little salt and pepper critter. Ooh, hey now, are you happy to see me, or are you just a C-Rite projector? Look at this thing. From the Test-Rite Instrument Company, model 6x6 opaque projector. Apparently it will enlarge any picture or print up to 6x6 in size and put it up on your wall. Neat. And then this stood out because Zip Discs got some Fellows binder sheets. Forget investing in Pokemon cards and putting those in binders, Zip Discs are where it's at. However, then I saw this, and heck yes, this is a score, personally. It's a Scotch ATG 700. I have been absolutely looking for one of these for years because I was a custom framer and we used these all the time, and it's an incredibly useful thing for applying double-sided tape of several different kinds. This is fantastic. Like, look, seriously, this is what you do. I have a bunch of these little tape things still from when I was a framer, and yeah, you just kind of stick it in there and get it along in the reels and yeah, over there and that way. And now you can very easily apply double-sided tape to frames or whatever you want to do, man. I often use these to make stickers or decals out of certain things that I print out. It's just a highly useful little tool. I've been meaning to grab one new, but I just never have for whatever reason. And here it is in a thrift store for $5 when they go for $45 to $75 new. However, I couldn't just leave it there like it's the last thing I'm going to show here in this thrift episode, a tape gun. No, of course not. Because this was happening nearby, the Southeast Game Exchange. A show that I had heard about but didn't realize it was happening like right then. I pretty much realized it as soon as it was about to happen that weekend. So you know what? Screw it. We're going to take a drive, go to the show. Hey, look, we're here at the convention center. Awesome. I know this isn't exactly thrifting, but who cares? This is my channel. I'm all vaxxed up. Let's go and do something in a crowd for the first time in like a year and a half, 2 years. And would you look at this? Oh man, this was a strange feeling. Being at a convention again, or any kind of event, or really just public indoor spaces with more than like a dozen people. Oh man, it was awesome though. The energy was immediate, and there were over 100 vendors with all kinds of awesome things for sale. Not to mention plenty of stations where you could just play retro games, compete in tournaments, check out arcade games, and pinball tables, and all kinds of fun stuff, man. And hey, I mean, this is a thrifting episode, so I guess we should look at some of their wares, and oh man, they had a whole ton of boxed SNES games, a ton of other stuff too, but these really stood out. As did the several vendors that were really stocked up on imports and tons of handmade items and crafty things and custom products of all kinds, like these ROM hack NES cartridges. And oh hey, look at this, it's John Riggs.
How are you feeling?
Doing pretty good, how are you?
I'm doing, man, I'm glad you're here. I'm glad to be here, and I'm glad you're here.
Me too. It's been way too long.
I know, it has. It's been, good lord, year and a half, 2 years
Yeah.
since we've done something last like this.
I don't even know what to do with myself. It feels bizarre.
It's been so long. The convention pizza actually tastes pretty good.
Hey, when the man is right, he's right. The pizza actually wasn't bad. It was a solid A convention pizza. And hey, look at this. This looks like something I could find in a thrift store. 5 1/4 inch disc holder looking thing, but instead of being for floppy disks, it's for NES cartridges. Never seen one of those. Ooh, I see dual tape decks and cartridge beige. Yep, that is definitely a Coleco Atom. I had one years back. Not my favorite. I'm a little more fond of the Odyssey 2 from Magnavox. There's a few little games here hanging around. I have several of these already. Diablo 2 Battle Chest in the box. It's one of the few big box PC things I saw at the show. Of course, this immediately grabbed my attention. We have an Atari 800XL computer. Looked pretty much new old stock, with a couple pieces of software as well as the Educator pack. Really tempting, although I think he was asking $350, $400, something like that, so didn't quite jump on it. Nor did I jump on these. These were the other big box PC games I saw at this show, and a couple of Pokemon Project Studios, as well as Starship Titanic and Deus Ex. I own all of these, but I was mostly surprised at the price, which was straight up eBay. Deus Ex was $150 alone, and it's not even sealed or in perfect shape. Man, it doesn't even seem like that long ago these would have been going for a fraction of that price. Finally though, here's the comfy spot that I was looking for. Look at all these fantastic machines, all set up in kind of a hands-on exhibit that you could just go up to and play all kinds of games, mess around with software, many personal favorites and some I'd never messed with at all. Big shout out to Save the Machine, a local non-profit that saves machines like these. Very much down my alley. They even had a Windows 98 LAN party they were setting up. Didn't get to get in on that, unfortunately, but that's just awesome. And I love this little setup they had going on with an IBM PS2 hooked up to an Epson printer. It's just a print shop creation station. You could design stuff in print shop and DOS and just print it out. A fantastic idea for an event. And that was not all. Around the front of the exhibit, they had multiple beige machines just hanging around that weren't part of the hands-on exhibit, but they were available for you to buy for a donation, with some pretty classic designs from that specific era of the 90s. Compact Presarios and little beige box clones and Midwest Micro things. Some Gateway 2000s and random little gaming builds, and the one that stood out the most to me, a Quantex 486 with a Cyrix DX2. I told them I was interested in it, and they were like, hey, let's go ahead and set it up, and you can try it out. I'm like, fantastic. So he hooked it up, powered it on, booted it up, and yeah, there you go. Got the Cyrix CPU, 8 megs of RAM, some kind of VGA built in, a Sound Blaster sound card, and a compact flash to IDE adapter complete, already set up with a 4 gig card and DOS and games and stuff. And dude, that is just super convenient, and I was sold. So I gave them their donation and walked around the show for a bit with a dang Quantex 486 in one hand and a smile on my face. This is the kind of ending that I strive for on an episode of Thrifts, even though this isn't really thrifting. And that is it for episode 47 of LGR Thrifts, with quite an interesting haul of various things. Yeah, I know I cheated a bit by going to a gaming show, but hey, whatever. I got a Quantex. That's gonna be fun. Plus a new old stock version of one of my favorite early optical mice, a fantastically handy tape thing, and we can't forget the Let's Ride Pack PC game, whatever it is, Sam's Club big box, that's all I care about, and those 2 monitors, the nice little Gateway one that cleaned up very well, and that ViewSonic, which is just a phenomenal rotating thing, 4:3 aspect ratio, 1600 by 1200. I did a video on both of those monitors, just checking them out over on my LGR Blurbs channel, so you can go and look at those if you want to see a little bit more in-depth on the monitors, and I'm sure I'll be covering the Quantex in some form, because that's just a neat machine, and I guess Mark Zuckerberg had one as a kid. But anyway, that is it for this episode of Thrifts, and once again, thank you all to everyone for continuing to support the show, even when it takes a while to get episodes put together. As usual, y'all have contributed tons of your own finds over the past amount of time, several months or whatever it's been since the last episode, and I'm glad that y'all have continued to find awesome things. It's been kind of weird, just off and on thrifting. I am thrifting more now that things have gotten somewhat more normal, in my area at least. I know not everybody's in the same boat in that respect, but still cool that y'all are able to find things. But yeah, that is it. Thank you very much for watching. I didn't think I forgot about the witchcraft tape, did you? Also, Orson Welles. And yeah, on that first side is indeed War of the Worlds.
Ladies and gentlemen, the director of the Mercury Theatre and star of these broadcasts, Orson Welles.
We know now that in the early years of the 20th century, this world was being watched closely by greater than man's.
Not the greatest of recording. I don't know where it actually came from. I mean, it sounds like a record, so yeah, a bit of skipping and popping and crackling all through it. But it's the other side. Witchcraft. So we'll get it over onto this reel and listen to it.
Sit back and listen now from KWHP in Edmond.
Hello? Hello, operator. Give me Mr. Regan, fast. Hello, Mr. Regan, this is Lewis. Listen, get me a rewrite, man. The thing's still growing. No, Chief, I tell you the truth. The corridor's choked with living, crawling flesh.
Oh, don't you understand?
For some reason, I cannot even imagine. This tissue is doubling in size every hour.
All right, well, it's another radio play of some kind, I guess called Witchcraft. It didn't identify itself, but it is from KWHP, the radio station listed on the back of the tape. If anybody knows exactly what that is, put it in the comments. But yeah, that's it for this episode of Thrifts. Thanks for watching.